Hi, and welcome to this installment of Frank and Mary here in Northborough, the COVID-19 version. As you know, if you've seen the last few of these shows, my good friend Chris Lindquist and I have decided to try to team up to provide information to seniors during this period to kind of replace what had been the regular Frank and Mary show with my old co-host Anita Hagspiel, who I think is still stuck in Florida, right? But to deal with issues specifically relevant to seniors, and Chris has been great about finding a whole set of folks who are interested in and can help you on these issues. Our guest last week was the fire chief, who's really kind of coordinating emergency response here. And Chris, we after that show, we both talked about the fact that an ideal person to have speaking with us is a person who has been on the regular Frank and Mary show before, and also has been a co-presenter with me at the presentations that we've done in the library, and that is my friend Christine Alessandro. Christine has been the executive director now of APATH Elder Services just forever, for a long time. Yes. And so, Christine, could you? I think both Chris and I are kind of interested in kind of where in a bunch of questions. But could you start off by just talking about, just as brief background about you, how you got where you're doing, what you're doing, and then what you're doing now, and then how BayPath is dealing with the COVID issues and in terms of the services you provide. And then maybe Chris and I can both talk about, what other issues that might be of relevance. Does that seem make sense to you, Chris?
Yes.
And for me as well. Thank you.
You have to call her Christine and me Chris in order to distinguish us.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Arthur.
So we're agreeing that Christine is Christine for today. Okay, that's great.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you both, Arthur and Chris, for having me on. I love doing these shows with you. I came to Massachusetts. I moved up here in 1998, and I moved up here from New York, where I had been working in long-term care. And at that time, I wanted to work with community elderly, older adults. So I joined BayPath Elder Services as the Director of Client Services. And then in 2000, my gosh, 20 years ago, I became the Executive Director. And I've been with the agency for all of that time, doing a lot of different things, really growing the agency, having a lot of fun, especially with Arthur. Through the years, we've been doing so much. So now we have arrived in 2020, and the landscape is very, very different with COVID-19. People know BayPath Elder Services as delivering home-delivered meals. We have dining sites. We have a caregiver program. We are out in the community, out and about. We have in-home services for older adults through our provider agencies. And that has changed in the last month. It's really a 180-degree change. We are still delivering home-delivered meals, but instead of delivering 5 days a week, we deliver multiple meals twice a week. And this is to ensure the safety of the volunteer driver as well as the older adult. So we deliver on Tuesdays and Fridays. So we'll deliver a hot meal, a cold meal, and a frozen meal. We've been delivering extra shelf-stable meals as well. A shelf-stable meal is just that, food that you can have readily available. It'll have crackers, it will have everything that is shelf-stable. And we usually distribute those in the winter as well, just in case of when we have those big blizzards. So if an individual in this era of COVID-19 is really isolated at home, and maybe you can get your groceries, maybe you can't, give us a call. We'll do a referral for home-delivered meals, and we'll get somebody on our home-delivered meals route. We are accepting new referrals, so people should absolutely reach out. We also have some emergency food that we've been delivering to folks in the community. We have an internal emergency food pantry, and we're finding that people cannot get out to grocery shop, or it might be a long wait with Peapod type of delivery. So we do have bags of food that we've been taking out into the community as well. We are still serving individuals in their home with homemaking, personal care. We knew before COVID-19 we had a shortage of workers, and that continues also because the workers may have childcare issues, they may be ill themselves, but we are continuing to try and provide those essential services to individuals. People will find that when a Meals on Wheels delivery man or delivery person comes to their door, or a worker comes to their door, they're going to be wearing masks. And this has been one of our challenges in getting personal protective equipment for everyone. But don't be surprised if someone shows up with a mask at your door. We did a delivery of shelf-stable meals a few weeks ago, and all of the delivery individuals had a little sign that said Meals on Wheels from Bay Path. So, you'll see your ID, you'll see something different, but we continue to be there. It requires a lot of creativity on our part. We're doing a lot of video conferencing with staff. We're using GoToMeeting. We're doing check-ins quite frequently. Many older adults do not have the ability to do that because they may not have a computer or an internet connection. And what we are finding is that individuals just want to talk. We understand this is a scary time, that it's a lot of unknown. And when we are calling our consumers, folks just want to talk. They're calling information and referral, which is still open. And those people can talk as well. Provide resources. We're providing new resources for where you might be able to get meals or food pantry or home delivery. But social isolation is going to become more and more of an issue. So we have those resources to give folks where you might be able to talk to somebody. Call to Talk, which is in Framingham, is a great resource. It's not a hotline, but it's staffed by individuals who can just have a friendly ear and walk you through these tough times. So if you're really feeling a heightened sense of anxiety, and I know that we are being bombarded daily through the news of what's happening with this pandemic, please reach out. There's always a friendly ear who's going to be able to listen to you and provide some reassurance and also provide the facts. We want to make sure people get the facts in this whole pandemic. And there's a lot of misinformation going on out there. So you really need to get the facts, the real facts. So that's pretty much what we've been doing in these couple of weeks since our world has been turned upside down. We are not going into our office. I go in once a week so I can sign checks, but everything operates remotely. We all have laptops. Our case managers are calling the individuals that they are serving. And Meals on Wheels are being delivered, which is very important. You can still make a referral for a caregiver. That's our other great concern during this time, is that there will be greater need for caregivers, and there will be less resources available for caregivers. Memory cafes are not operating in this environment. They've closed up. So it's even more critical that we reach out to folks who are taking care of perhaps older family members and help them through this process as well. It's a challenge on many, many fronts.
Christine, that's a great summary. I noticed that, Chris, are you there?
I'm here, Arthur.
I noticed that during that call.
I was listening intently, and I do have a question, if I may. So I was wondering, yes. Christine,
yes.
Does Bay Path Elder Services support local senior centers? So in Northborough, we have the senior center, and obviously, I don't believe they're working inside the building, but they're working remotely as well, as we all are. Are there support services and consulting services that you provide to local senior centers?
Yes, we do. And I've been reaching out to the senior center directors, emailing them, what can we do for you? Do you feel the need to have a conference call, a video call? And I know that this Northborough Senior Center had a new director start this week.
That's correct.
Her name is Liz Trediak.
Yes.
Liz actually worked for BayPath for a number of years.
Great.
So she's very aware of the resources that we provide. And I'm so thrilled that she's in Northborough. We really loved having her at BayPath, and I think she's really going to be an asset to Northborough. But if the center directors finally need something, please reach out to us. We'll get it to you.
Terrific. Terrific.
That's great information. So, Christine, can you, for folks who have not participated in Meals on Wheels before, but who now, because of this whole COVID-19 issue, may be wanting to think about that, can you just go through the fact that, first of all, to confirm what if any cost there is, what if any eligibility requirements there are, and then can you give us a phone number that people could call, whether it be just your general information and referral phone number, or how they could figure out whether they may really want what is really a wonderful service, but they may have not thought they needed it to this.
Right. And well, the main criteria for eligibility for Meals on Wheels is being homebound. We're all homebound. We are all homebound now.
That's a big group.
Yeah. And you have to be over the age of 60. There is no cost associated with these meals. We do offer a voluntary donation if you would like to, and that's required. It is required that we inform you that you have the opportunity to donate. Meals on Wheels is a federally funded program, and under federal guidelines, we have to inform people if you're partaking of a federally funded service, you can donate to it. If you choose not to donate, it has no bearing on whether or not you will receive a meal or not. So if you're homebound, maybe finding that even you may have food, but you want something different, or you want to have somebody come to your door so you can say to look in on you or have a quick chat. They're not coming right up to the door. They're going to leave the meal and then back up so you can pick it up. So we maintain that social distancing. But you can call BayPath's main number at 508-573-7200. Leave a message, and your message will be routed out to our nutrition program so they can pick up the referral. Very easy. 1, 2, 3.
Chris, any questions on Meals on Wheels that you had for Christine?
Yes. So, Christine, I'm wondering a couple things. Are the meals prepared at your facility or elsewhere in the community?
Okay, that's a great question, Chris. No, we don't cook the meals ourselves. I'd like to think I'm a really good cook, but cooking for 5
I think your gardening skills are pretty good, Christine, judging from the plants there in the background. Right?
Doesn't translate into my cooking skills. BayPath is actually part of a nutrition consortium. It's comprised of 5 agencies: BayPath, Minuteman Senior Services, Montechusett Opportunity Council, LifePath, which is another ASAP, and Cooperative Elder Services, which is an adult day health program. We contract with an entity. The name is TRIO. It used to be Bateman Community Dining. It has now been acquired and is now called TRIO. And for our consortium, the kitchen is located in Southborough, right off of 495. It's a brand new kitchen. It was just we just got it a couple of years ago. We had to move the kitchen, so it really is state of the art. They prepare all the meals in the kitchen. Then they are sent out to our sites that will portion out the meals. So they get the meals in bulk at the site, and then they're portioned out for the Meals on Wheels delivery, and then the drivers come and pick them up. What we are right now in our meal delivery, we are not delivering milk, and we are not delivering desserts because of the whole COVID-19. We've had to make some changes there. So you are seeing a kitchen that is producing about 2,500 meals a day. So we also
Wow.
have the opportunity to get chilled meals or cold meals from there. So it might be a sandwich or something else, but it meets all the nutritional value that we are required to have under the Older Americans Act guidelines. And we purchase our frozen meals through another source, and they are delivered in bulk to the caterer, and we pick them up from there. So there's a lot of food going in and out of our caterer. So what happened with our Meals on Wheels program is once COVID-19 hit, virtually all of our delivery is done by volunteers. And many of these volunteers are older adults themselves who are concerned about COVID-19. We do know that older adults are more vulnerable at this time. So once COVID-19 really hit, we lost about 80% of our delivery force. So we have been working over the past few weeks. We've ramped up again with our delivery force, a whole new group of volunteers. And that's another reason for delivering twice a week. We just don't have that volunteer workforce at that time to get it out 5 days a week. So we are really doing the best we can under these circumstances. And again, it's certainly a 180-degree change in how you have to do your operations. You have to be nimble. You have to be able to pivot. And I think we've done that very successfully. But you'll see the same meals that you would see any other month being delivered out there. And I can, go ahead, Chris.
If you have special dietary needs, you're able to meet some of those dietary needs as well?
That is a challenge in itself, and I do not believe right now that we are able to accommodate that in the normal time we are, but I will certainly check that out and get the answer back to you.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Right, so we'll try to have that information available, but it's so handy that people have the ability to call in, and just kind of sign up and just to see how things are working right now. Because that you're just providing just an invaluable service to just all these folks.
Right.
Now, I am actually, I was going to say, I'm actually surprised that you're actually able to maintain also some of your home care, the home care work that you do, right? And now, Christine, am I right in that the agency, Baypath Elder Services, contracts with home care providers to do this? These aren't home care people that are working directly for Baypath, right?
That is correct. We contract with providers out in the community. For example, Bayada, it's a very well-known name nationally. And the provider agencies have homemakers, personal care workers, home health aides, nurses that are able to go into the home and provide care. Now, in a situation that we have, such as a pandemic, if the pandemic continues, or if we find that there are a number of individuals in a building that are COVID-19 positive, we may begin to triage services going in. For example, we may not have homemakers go in to do cleaning. We can live with dust bunnies.
Sure.
Trust me, we can live with dust bunnies, but you can't live without that personal care. So you may get to a point where you triage the care that is going in. With the workforce, we have women who may have childcare issues. We may have women who are sick themselves. And there, again, is a lot of angst in the provider workforce. These are not medical professionals. They are professionals, but not medical professionals. And so it's also helping to support that community of providers because they really are the frontline workforce. We really depend on these individuals to help out older adults who are just so vulnerable. Baypath is keeping an eye on the transmission of COVID and really looking at, say, where are the pockets in individual communities, so we can, if we find there's an issue, we can pivot our workforce, the provider workforce, to deliver care to other consumers.
Great. Question, Arthur, may I ask a question? So, Christine, if we have volunteers, people who are working from home, they find they have a little more time these days, and they want to, volunteer and perhaps deliver a meal, how would they reach out to you?
They can, again, reach out to Bay Path's main number, 508-573-7200, leave a message. And if they want to volunteer for Meals on Wheels delivery, that will be routed to our nutrition director, Denise Mensdorf.
Oh, that's great. And how I want to make sure that people are aware with your agency, like a lot of folks right now, you don't have necessarily someone manning the phone because you've got your people working outside of the office.
Correct.
But I'm sure that people are checking the voicemail a lot more than they would have traditionally been checking it, just because
right.
you've got all these rerouting problems, right?
Right. People are checking their phones every 15 minutes. Where possible, we've been able to forward our work phones to our cell phones, but they are checking every 15 minutes. Everyone is working remotely, and your calls will be answered. Definitely. Also, if individuals, to back up Chris, and that's a great question, if an individual wants to do volunteer in any way for Bay Path, we do need to have them come in because we do need to do a CORI, which is a criminal offender record check, and that is standard pretty much across the board. So we would need to have folks come into the first floor of our office building, where we have a very large conference room, and people come in, they have an appointment, they come in one by one. They go into the conference room, complete the paperwork, and we can do the CORI and then get them situated. The training to be a Meals on Wheels volunteer is actually conducted online. So it's a fairly easy process.
Terrific.
But I think great that you pointed that out, though, Chris, because you've got people that are really at home right now and really wanting to volunteer, and especially if they're helping folks in their own town,
Right.
And this is just an invaluable service. It's terrific. So,
Right.
Chris, I want to ask if you've got any other questions, because I know we're running a little bit close to the end of our show, and but Christine has just provided so much information. Chris?
The only question I have is, I know that, Bay Path Elder Services serves a large region in central Massachusetts, including Northborough, of course. But I don't have a sense of, how many staff do you have, and about what's your volunteer corps look like? I mean, I'm just curious about the number of people.
Well, as far as employees, we have about 110, 115, full and part-time. Not everyone is in the office. The nutrition staff are in the field. We serve about 3,000 consumers in our home care programs itself, and we cover 14 communities in Metro West. And I'm sorry, I didn't get to the second.
Well, I was curious about your volunteer corps and approximately how many people serve in that area.
Yeah. Right. We have, if you look at all of our volunteer programs, we have volunteers for Meals on Wheels, our ombudsman program, money management program, our board of directors is all volunteer. Our area agency on aging advisory council is all volunteer. So we have about 500 volunteers, all in all.
So it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable between their paid staff and the volunteers, the services they're providing to us, and to several of the neighboring communities. Well, Christine, thanks a million for coming on. We really appreciated this. I think it's answered some really valuable questions. Some people who may have not felt that they needed Bay Path to this point, but now really do. And I think we'll feel more comfortable calling. Chris, thank you very much for being willing to do these shows.
Arthur, thank you. And Christine, great to see you, even if it's remotely. Someday, when things get back to normal, we'll see you at the library, hopefully next fall, and we'll do the Frank and Mary show in person. But thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And Arthur, great to see you as always.
And thank you, and thank you all for watching. For the folks here in Northborough who are watching to the show, we'll look forward to seeing you and talking to you on the next installment of Frank and Mary here in Northborough, the COVID-19 version. Thank you very much.